Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us at the last leg, you are watching Daybreak on Trust TV. We'll be diving into our review of our national dailies, and we'll be starting with a Daily Trust this morning. Right on the front page of Daily Trust, boldly, the headline, we have Tinubu's endorsement, what Nigerians think. That is on pages 3, 4, and 5. Make sure you go through so that you can take a look at it. At the top right, we have assassination claim. Federal government files criminal charges against Senator Natasha, which is on page 7 of Daily Trust. Next up, despite 6-time price cuts by Dangote, petrol costs still high. That's on page 19 of Daily Trust. On the top right, we have League of Northern Democrats backs coalition against Tinubu. That will be interesting. That's on page 11 of Daily Trust. Down below with the depiction and breakdown of Nigerians killed in road crashes in the first quarter, it said 1,593 Nigerians killed in road crashes in 3 months. Buses, trucks, trailers behind fatal road crashes, and Nigeria tops accidents death chart in Africa. That is very devastating to have that high of a number in just 3 months caused by road crashes. Next up, we have The Guardian for today. At the front, on the front page, we have opposition kicks as Tinubu hails defections and APC endorsement. At the top, we have 2027 SDP's Adebayo rejects Atiku may step down for Obi. The next one, we have Fabio Bello may testify as federal government files criminal charges against Natasha. On the top right, we have Dangote slashes petrol price as independent marketers undercut prices. On the bottom, we have President submits 1.48 trillion naira rivers appropriation bill to Senate. And we have the Patriots Senate Southwest stakeholders demand new constitution and true federalism equity. On the bottom, we have defect with me to APC or resign. Governor Eno tells his cabinet. That is quite interesting. We have vacate our lands before June. Tiv Council tells herders. And I hope this will not bring a clash with this announcement. Next up, we have This Day. On the front page, we have Ribadu. Despite challenges, Nigeria safer under Tinubu's watch. That is quite a take. At the top, we have President to new NNPCL board. Use your experience to turn a nation's economy around. On the bottom, we have Tinubu consolidates and expanding APC, dwindling opposition weighs counter options. He added APC apparatchiks endorse president as sole candidate for 2027, and it says don't blame people bailing out of sinking ship. He expects more defections, says Tinubu. And he said opposition coalition appoints Mark Chair Imoke and Amici True. And joining me to review some of the headlines of the pages of today's newspaper is Programs Director of Daily Trust Foundation, Dr. Theophilus Abba. Thank you for joining us again today. Yes, it is a pleasure to always have you on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. The headline that really caught my attention is the assassination claim, where the federal government files criminal charges against Senator Natasha. With all the back and forth that has been happening with her case, what is your take on this, and is it something tangible?
Well, I think many Nigerians were surprised. I think when I read the story that the federal government had taken Natasha to court, I was shocked because this is a woman who is seen as a victim of all sorts of political manipulations.
Absolutely.
And then the federal government, not even Akpabio himself, is dragging her to court. It looks quite ironic, like what the white man would call an oxymoron, because it shouldn't have happened. But the major issue is if the federal government, or that is the Ministry of Justice or the Director of Public Prosecution, are supposed to take one to court in the name of for such an offense, then it must be something that is clearly of public interest. Now, when you say something is of public interest, it means that the reason why government is going to court or is taking one to court, or the reason why the DPP will take over a case, is because this case is going to affect the majority of Nigerians. The issue in question will affect the majority of Nigerians. For instance, if somebody calls for, let's assume, a coup, a coup will affect the majority of Nigerians. So the DPP could go to court. But when somebody says, oh, there's an attempt on my life, and we hear that every day, and this person, and the federal government is the one taking the case, taking that person who raised alarm to court, it seems odd.
Exactly.
Because the DPP,
where does it tally?
yes, because
she alleged that an assassination attempt was made on her. Then how does it tally taking her to court for criminal charges?
Yes, the DPP is supposed to pursue issues like that if it is in public interest. Now, this one doesn't seem to be in public interest, the resources of it. So, I mean, it's a political squabble between some politicians, and I don't see how it is it has that magnitude to affect the majority of Nigerians. So it's quite odd to see the DP taking up the case. And then to some extent, many people who read it from the outside will see how that they will think that, oh, the government is joining in the persecution of this woman.
Absolutely.
Because she has raised issues that were not properly handled, And now, when she raised an alarm over a threat to her life, I remember what happened. She was supposed to go to her constituency after she went around, throughout the world. She was supposed to go to her constituency to say, okay, I'm back. And what happened was that the Kogi State government said, look, there shall be no political rally, there shall be no political gathering. You understand? And they barred every political activity, even the road to her place. They cordoned the place, so she couldn't even go there by road. She had to hire a helicopter to go to her constituency. And they said, okay, if your constituency, you cannot hold them. You say, look, everything that has been put in place now is like an attempt to assassinate me. Because if you declare the curfew, you prevented me from political activities when there is no state of emergency. It's not like as if there was war in her constituency. All those things put together, she now say, okay, it's like, there's an effort to take my life. And then the federal government is going to court to say, why did you say somebody wanted to take your life? You see? So I was thinking that if there was an investigation, carried out, thorough investigation, I said, well, what this lady said was not true. It was just like a hyperbolic statement or something like that. Then, well, we say, well, if you are not even investigating, if you are not taking those she has accused to court, you allow her to be. But now you are saying you are dragging her to court, and I can't understand. To me, it doesn't really add up.
Yes, definitely. All right. I would say the biggest story that caught my attention is yesterday's endorsement by the All Progressives Congress governors and other members of the APC, where Tinubu was endorsed. So what is your take on that? And with them coming out as quick as they are, and previously with other politicians endorsing Tinubu from other political parties as well, where do you think it is going?
Okay, I think what has happened is this. In the APC, there is no visible candidate or aspirant for the presidency for 2027. We don't hear of anybody in the APC saying, okay, in 2027, we are going to contest. Now, so you now discover that the APC leaders, what do you call them, these governors and whatever, the executive and all this, they now come and say, oh, this guy, you are doing a good job, we endorse you. But an endorsement is not a ticket. You have to be very clear, because the Constitution says that there must be a primary election.
Absolutely.
So what we expect is that by 2026, there will be a primary election, which will now say, okay, who will be the party's flag bearer? If Tinubu is the one that will be the party's flag bearer, the delegates will have to vote for him. Then, but as at now, nobody is coming out in the APC to say, okay, I'll contest against Tinubu. And that is not good for internal democracy in the APC. Because if you have a president who is not challenged, internally is not challenged, you know, even the opposition, we are still waiting to see what will eventually come up.
Where the direction
but then within the party, you see, I don't think it's decent for the party to keep clapping hands for someone who is there. Nobody is pointing out, these are the issues, these are the things that you've not done the right way. This is what Nigerians are feeling, and you must do something about it. We don't hear the APC talking about things like that, even among themselves. So when you see only clapping of hands and hailing him and say you are God, you are this, no, it's not good for the party, number one, and it's not good for the country, because the Nigerians have their issues. You know, even though you cannot force him out of that place, we have our issues. The National Assembly is not challenging him. You know, the party is not even raising issues. And the governors, in the past, we used to have governors, talking of the ruling party's governors, who come together and say, look, this thing that this president has done, we don't agree with it. We want a change. I remember there was a time when Amechi was the PDP, chairman of the PDP governors forum. You know, they will go to the president and say, Mr. President, we disagree with this. We disagree with that. We don't want this. Well, this time we don't see it. Everybody is just hailing the president and say, oh, go ahead. And even though we see a lot of challenges that need to be dealt with by this government. So I don't think it's good for the APC. But then I will add that this endorsement is not a ticket yet, because he has to fight for the party's ticket. I don't know if anybody will come up to challenge him in 2026. But then he still needs the party's ticket.
On one end, there are these endorsements that are coming out of the wood, and then on the other end, the oppositions that are kicking against, you know, the way Tinubu is hailing, the president is hailing all the people that are defecting and moving to the APC and all the endorsements, and some of some coalitions like the League of Northern Democrats are against Tinubu, and in their words, they said they would do as much as they can to highlight the negatives and make sure that he steps down. So what is your take on that?
Well, the issue is that Tinubu said something yesterday. He said he has not compelled anybody to defect to APC. So if he has come out openly to say that, then you cannot blame him for the defections. Even though there are other things that are happening on the ground. You know, the governor of Akwa Ibom made a statement. He said, look, I want to get closer to the governor, because they are, to the president rather. I want to get closer to the president because there are benefits that will derive from being close to the president or being in the same party with the president. So we don't know clearly what those benefits are. But when you see people migrating to a particular place, a particular party, maybe there are benefits that are unspoken. Because I remember the former governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, there was a time he made a statement. He said, I am of the PDP, but there are so many things that other governors were getting that I was not getting. I don't know why. You know, he raised that alarm at a point that, look, there were things that some governors were receiving that he was not receiving. We don't really know what happens between the ruling party and the opposition party. What are those things that governors of the ruling party benefit, that governors of the opposition parties don't benefit? Is it that there are some allocations Is it that there are some funds, or is it that there are some projects that are reserved for the governors of the APC? You know, so when you see them moving in that manner, you know that there is something they are benefiting.
There has to be something with this, with Governor Erno telling his cabinet that they have to defect with him to the APC or resign. That is basically a threat.
And he said, look, if you don't follow me, I'm going. You cannot stop me, because I want to be in the same party with the president, because there are benefits. So what are these benefits? We don't know. We don't know what they are.
We'll have to find out maybe in the coming months or weeks, and maybe an expose will be in the horizon. We do not know. But thank you so much for being here. It was an absolute pleasure for you highlighting all the aspects of the headlines that we looked at today. And thank you for staying with us as always. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. and catch us as well on Daybreak on Trust TV. I am Hawa Ademikiawa.